meta, where meta meets verse, where gamers meet devs, where devs meet games. Your direct access to the future right here, right now.
I do. Has it ended yet? Has the jingle ended? I think the jingle ended. Hello, everybody!
Hey!
Look, there's someone new! It's Dora!
Hi, everyone!
Yay!
So good to see you all. Yeah, finally I made it.
Yeah, about time! So, how are we all today?
Rocking and rolling. Yeah.
Very good. Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, we've been asking you for weeks.
Yeah.
Not really.
I mean, I've been wanting to get rid of Dora and myself, Wendy and myself for like weeks.
Yeah,
I
right.
just have you.
No, it's awesome. Awesome to be here.
Didn't you prepare your half-hour
Yes.
stand-up routine? Didn't you get that memo?
Yes.
Oh, like
Your
what?
monologue.
Dancing?
Yeah, me and Santa going
No,
there.
definitely not.
The cat's there! The cat has made an appearance.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Cody. You want to join
I
us?
think between us, the dev team own quite an alarming number of cats.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a cat team for
Feeding of
sure.
cats is one of the primary uses of the funds generated.
Apart from Jake and his giant Akita dog.
Dog,
Probably
yeah.
dog eats more than all our cats together.
It is quite big. It is quite big.
Cool.
Okay, so we are live today. We did the pre-record last week, which was all right, but a bit of a faff, to be honest, in post-editing. So we've come back live again. You should be able to see us in the live stream room, in the billboards in Infiniverse. And I can't remember if I put it anywhere else, but if you do, then bonus! So welcome.
Enjoy.
Thanks for joining us. And we've got, as always, a nice little show lined up for things to chat about. Where should we start?
I don't know. Let's start with the coolest thing of all, the fact that you have spent months, if not years, building new statues.
So he's shed straight in the spotlight on me. Yeah, so as we announced early this week, we have hit the target. This is in relation to our XP trial. So as a quick reminder to you folks out there who may not be quite up to speed, we are currently running a trial of XP, of experience points. So all the things that you do in Multiverse, you can get experience points for. And these are now shown in a lovely little icon above your head in the in-app. And the more things that do, the more things you earn points for. This is a trial period, however. It's a complex beast. There's so many knobs to tune and things to fiddle. So we're testing it out, adding new things, changing ones that do and don't work. And to reward you guys for helping us out with this test, because at the end of the test, the XP will get reset back to 0. So to reward you for taking the time to help us out just during the trial period, we've got a number of little thank yous. The key one of which that Sam referred to is the Great Statue Switch. Now, we said if 10,000 users take part in our trial, then we would switch out all of the original statues in Infiniverse. Now, these are all the ones that have been there since day one. The empty pizza box, the teapot, the sushi, the hot dog, all of those ones. And we have hit that target. Woo!
Yeah!
Double-edged sword, because that means I have work to do. So just to explain how this is going to work, a lot of people had questions about it and have been asking, what do I have to do? Doing a thing? What about, this plot, that plot? So anywhere that you currently see throughout anywhere in Infiniverse, one of those original set of statues, they're mostly food items, but so there are some, there's a teapot and a wine bottle, they will get automatically switched out. Now, whether that's ones on a small little district, a smaller sub-district, or a larger ones with the circle in a big field, everyone that's there that will get switched out. This will happen automatically. You don't need to do a thing. and it will be a like so every caret will get changed to the same thing. Every donut will get changed to the same thing. So we will flick the switch for this, and they will appear. We'll announce it once we've got a date set. We'll set up the events. We'll set up a little showroom area, probably a little place for you to go and see them, and you can go and explore and see which one your favourite area has been given. Any areas that you've
we'll do that, but we will also probably release them early anyway, or something like that, right?
Who knows if I just roll over and hit the switch by mistake. Any ones that you have already stamped over, so let's say you didn't like your slice of cheese and you replaced it with something else, that won't come back. That has been your decision to change that, and that's changed back. So they're not going to suddenly revert to what they were before. So it's pretty exciting. So been busy making those. They're currently in the testing phase, which means that over on our dev servers, which is basically a replica of the Infiniverse that we use for testing our stuff, for playing around, for checking everything works before we release it, they're all there on the dev server, and I've been stamping away, checking they all look good, they're not too big, they're all facing the right way, they're not floating too high, that the animations
Ooh.
So I'm pretty pleased with how they're looking. There's a few little tweaks. There are some which came out way too big, and it's always, until you actually get in there, it's quite a big thing with VR actually. You design on your screen and you think, oh, that looks perfect, and you go in and suddenly it's just way too big or way too small or completely disproportionate to other stuff. It's very, very misleading, as San knows. It's it's getting that kind of real but not real proportion is difficult. I mean, San has a very skewed idea of proportions anyway. So it's...
Wait a second.
See, Dora was worried about what to talk about. She was like, I think, concerned this would be a serious, very kind of full-on chat.
Take the mickey out of me.
Oh, I
It's just
saw,
me
I
taking
saw
the
that
mickey. So keep an eye out on the discovery menu, keep an eye out on the featured menu for when we announce that the statues will be coming. We don't have a fixed date yet, but we will be talking about this next week to decide when they're all going to be coming out. So exciting times. I think actually, is that the last vestige of that original, if you go back to that, what was it, December 17th back in 2021? Is that the last thing that still exists from that time?
Hasn't been swapped out.
Yeah.
I think probably
The
it's the
only
last
one.
thing that we haven't changed out at least once.
Oh, possibly. Maybe the lampposts, but there's not much scope
No, they-
for changing them.
They weren't there to begin with. They were
weren't.
added.
No, you're right.
No, I think it's pretty much all been changed out by now. That's going to be the last. Actually, it's really sad when you put it in those terms. No, I think we should keep them.
For one day only, you should go back, right back
Yes,
to the old original one.
We should. I mean, if we could revert everything for one day back to the original world and then back
Remind
again.
you all.
Every year on the 15th of December, it should just flip
Just
back to what it
revert
used
it.
to be like.
But Wendy,
So people
didn't you
can get a
say that
sense.
they might be
The problem
available
is-
anyway? The old statues, would they be available?
Yeah, so I've been pondering this over. So the old statues were available as an option until the upgrade, when we removed them just to make space on the list if you wanted to stamp down. But unsurprisingly, not many people chose to stamp down the statues. But for posterity, and I know some of you have even built up little areas around statues, and it would be a shame to lose ones that you've become oddly attached to in a kind of, what's that, the kind of the syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yes, where you kind of fall in love with your captors. So I'll try to think of a way, that we can maybe keep them or restore them as an option, so you can bring them back, and certainly pay homage to them somehow. A little, hey, idea suddenly thought to me. Send in your old screenshots of these old statues and we'll make a little gallery of them. We can do a little user-generated gallery of all your old screenshots showing these old statues, and with your folk and you're doing your stuff out on the streets, and we'll do a little compilation of them somewhere as a kind of trip down ye olde memory lane.
I love it. Especially we got Bet Bay to make them all animated and videos and put rooms together of all of the old statues, making them look better than they actually were, so that everybody actually had nostalgia for something that never
That
existed.
never happened.
That actually, you can segue nicely onto that. Just to remind everybody about, if you do have an amazing space, if you've created something that you love and that you want to share, then let her know and get it on the featured list. Dora, tell us about the featured list.
Yeah, I don't know, like, where am I on the screen?
Yeah, for me, you're up there, and I'm the one that's recording, so you're up there. Tell us about the featured list. Tell us.
Yes,
how it works.
absolutely. I love to hear from you. So whenever you have anything like storefront, other locations are also fine, apartments, any galleries, we want to share those. So we update it every week. You can reach out to us directly at support@FTL Ltd. Just share your URL. Make sure that you don't have too many videos though, because that's something that we've been mentioning recently. And also when you submit your storefronts for approval, we are trying to make sure that rooms are not overloaded. So recommending 2 videos, and then rest is up to you.
And
we are
what
very
else do they
flexible.
need to make sure they do have?
And
make sure that
the
you've got-
banner is really good, because that's what's going to be on the top. So for anyone who doesn't know exactly where is the featured list and where to find those destinations, is on the discovery menu top when you open the menu button. And we have usually 4 to 5 destinations. We can even feature events if you really have event that you want to promote. But I think what works best is actual storefront, apartment, because those will take you to the location. With events, it will be more like a just a note about an event, but the location will only work when the event starts. So yes, please do message me. You can use support email, or I think many of you have my Dora@FTL Ltd email, so that's also welcome. All of those emails do work, and you can send those out. And I'm very happy to feature your amazing creations. We have that option, so let's use it. Because it's been a little bit more requests recently, but when it's quiet, we definitely welcome your ideas.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't get featured straight away, we'll keep them a little list, and we'll cycle through them.
I keep it on the list.
Next week, don't worry, it won't just get ignored. I'm just going to open my door very quickly. It's really, really hot in here, so excuse me one moment.
Go for it.
So, Dora, talk to me while Wendy's disappeared.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tell me something interesting.
I mean, I actually, maybe I should just introduce myself a little bit, because I don't know if all of you do know me, but now you do. I'm based in Tampa, Florida, so I'm in Eastern time zone. So I'm behind Wendy and San. So I actually am in a time zone that majority of you might be. So that's why I'm the person usually that you would see responding from our support email. So that's the inbox that comes to me. So for any issues that you have, any bug reports, any things that you need to find out maybe about your storefronts, do reach out to support. That's the inbox that I have and monitor. The other thing is that it's kind of in my area are the storefront approvals as well. So you know who to contact if you're waiting for your storefront to approve. I review them daily, so most of the time. So yeah, you should get your responses pretty fast. But like we mentioned, do make sure that you do not put too many videos, because that might be causing some issues, and just generally follow the guidelines that we have for storefronts. So that's the approval process for storefronts. If you do have, I've seen quite a few inquiries recently where the storefronts are connected to the same template. I think it's a pretty common issue that can happen when you purchase a storefront, and I think quite a few of you have been registering your storefronts with the increased limit to the subscriptions. So if that happens to you, there's very easy fix for that. You just need to reach out to us, say which the address that the storefront is affected, and you need to create a new storefront template. So I can fix that for you as well. And then deep links, I think it's another area that you might want to request. So when you're creating those amazing storefronts with the new template that Wendy has in store for you, you can have a deep link and share it on your social media, on the website, and deep link will direct anyone with the headset directly to your location. So you can always have those created as well.
So you
and
bypass the homeroom, bypass the getting there, takes you straight into
any tutorials, anything. So it's great, like on your company website, for example, you can say, hey, visit us here.
And given that we now have the whole passive XP, using those deep links and handing them around and getting other people to use them could potentially
what a good idea to earn some points.
So yeah, definitely make sure you use those things. And I think there's a lot of things out there that Dora can help with, specifically if you're running a business or you've got an area that you'd like to get more exposure to, then Dora's the right person to reach out to. She can help you with the featured list. She can help you with your storefront. She can help you get it exposure to it. And obviously then you can get it out there, get people visiting, earn the XP, and be an OG with a massive score above your head. But yes, the other thing to mention while we're talking about these things is the XP stuff that we've been doing. And obviously, like Wendy said many times, it all hangs together, ties together, and is in a beautiful, complex knot of intricacy and wonder. So yes, make sure you go in and test out and see whether you've been having any passive XP generated in the background. That has gone live over the last few days. This week, I think. I can't remember when we put it live, but we've definitely put it up there. So you can, at the moment, earn points for having people visit your store, which reminds me, Dora, make sure you feature all my storefronts this next week.
You have to send it to support at FTL.
Make sure you update your storefronts, Anne. Make sure they're relevant and current.
And we'll review it.
Yes, exactly. So as you can see, no favoritism here.
None whatsoever. Yeah, and as Dora mentioned, we do now, remember, have the increased storefront limit. So whatever subscription you are on, you do need a premium subscription to have a storefront, but any then above, you've now got increased limits, so you can have even more storefronts than before. And just today, we released another one. I mean, I am getting a little bit sick of talking about storefronts because it seems to be all I say these days.
I love it, Wendy. Go on.
But yeah, the next one is out now. It is the gift shop. So it's one of the shop series. And it is like the camping shop that came out last week, a lovely immersive space for anyone out there who wants to do a bit of their own, maybe promote their own retail gifts business. It's got the amazing little browser buttons so that you can send people directly to your website to actually purchase those gifts. There's a little tip as well. So those browser buttons can not only be used to send people to your own website where they can purchase your gifts, but you can also use it as like a contact me page or a little like me page. So why not set up a little page, a little website somewhere with a feedback form or a visitor logbook, and use it for that purpose to try and track who's the footfall in your store and get some direct feedback, because we know if you have a real storefront, you're there behind the counter all day long. You can't be there in virtual reality. That's that's not how it works. So people are going to come to the stores when you're not there. That's normal, and with the passive XP, that's a brilliant thing. People coming in, but so you can then get some feedback from them and find out what they liked, where they went. Just hook up those browser buttons to your little website, to your feedback form, whatever you want to do. A little Google form, very very easy to make, and then get that dialogue going with your customers, because that is really hopefully what they're going to be, your customers.
Yeah.
And if you're not sure how to use the browser buttons or the portrait videos, we have the tutorials on our website as well. I know that Wendy mentioned about it, but in case there is, anybody new or a little bit confused joining us, please do check our tutorials on multiverseupdates.com. And we have there, a lot of resources. So if you trying to get started and you don't know where to get started, that's a good website to visit. So please do check out. And we do have the newsletter sign up as well on our homepage. So if you scroll down, you can add your email and get all the updates. But just as a reminder, all of our updates are in the updates room first. So that's where you should head first. But then for a summary, we do send a regular newsletter. So it's always good for you to get an overview of what's going on. So do sign up if you haven't received our newsletter yet.
Yeah. Well, talking about those updates and fixes, this is one of the ongoing things of a dev team. You constantly have this stream of little bugs to fix, be them little minor things, something's floating, be it big and major things like crashes. So, the art team, the dev team, the coding team are constantly working on things. So, Sam, why don't you give us a little recap of some of the really huge fixes that we've done recently? We've done some pretty cool ones to fix some long-term issues.
Yeah, so we obviously still have a couple of crash bugs, which we are working on. At the moment, we've tracked one or two of them down to the fact that there are people on slow internet connections who are having a tough time getting into the application. Luckily, the current place I'm in has a really horrible internet connection, so I'm struggling and suffering with that bug myself daily. But yes, it turns out that if you have a very slow internet connection, so an internet connection where the up or the down speed is less than 2 megabits per second, then there is a chance that you won't be able to get past the homeroom and into the app itself, or that when you go into the homeroom, the Infiniverse world won't load. We are in the process of fixing that one. We think we've nailed down what the problem is. So in the coming week or so, we should hopefully have a fix for that and be posting that out there. It won't be speeding it up. I mean, it is one of the problems. We made it much more awesome by putting the homeroom in the center of Infiniverse. Wendy did a great job bringing it down to the point where you actually get to see it at head height, real height. So you get a real view of what Infiniverse is at Grand Central. But as a consequence, the cost or the expense of the homeroom went up quite significantly. And as a result, the first location you go into in the app can take a little bit longer to load. So those are some of the things that we're looking into, we're going to try and solve. But one of the more interesting things that we have managed to fix is the rooms or storefronts and apartment rooms where we have encroaching buildings from around that have come into the rooms. And I think we've got a couple of issues. We've had a little bit of a knock-on backwards step with a forward step and stuff like that. But I think we're at the point now where today Ollie has released the update that fixes it against the broken fix that fixed something else that then was breaking the fix. But yes, we think we now have it solved. So please go in. I think we've already had a couple of reports, but it sounds like we're in a position where we have fixed this problem. It's now solved. You can go into the majority of your rooms, the majority of your storefronts, and you will see no buildings crouching in. Obviously, please keep us aware if you have buildings or apartments where the other buildings around them are coming into them, because the more we know about them, the more we'll be able to test them. Specifically, a postcode and an address would be helpful, because then we can track it down and send our programmers directly to those locations to look at them. But yeah, we feel that we've tackled that one quite well. Another thing that we've managed to...
So just to clarify that one very quickly. So this refers to the encroaching buildings where the next building clips through. It doesn't unfortunately fix pavements. So on plots that are maybe on a very acute corner, then the pavement does still come in, because the pavements are a different entity from the building themselves. So that unfortunately is still an issue. Now, with pavements, they do encroach, and they're ugly, but they don't cover up the entire walls. So it's definitely a huge leap forward with this. So we do know that those are still cases, but all the ones where you had the entire wall coming through or blocked off, that is now the one that we've sorted.
Yeah. Another thing we can say thanks to Stephen for is he has managed to help us fix some of the bugs that people have had where they've input the wrong links to the YouTube. So if you've had a room, yeah, well done, Stephen, where the YouTube video address that you put in was incorrect, or somehow was missing a number or a letter, or was the wrong link type or something like that. There was a scenario where it would all flicker quite horrifically, specifically the page, to the point where you weren't able to edit the page, you weren't able to change the content of the page, and it was stuck in a horrific state. Stephen has done work to both rectify that state, so now your pages that did not work should work again, but also he's done some work to improve the detection of a bad link. He hasn't fixed it to the point where you can't break it. You can obviously still break it. So please don't try to, because if you do try to, we might not be able to fix it. But the scenario where you accidentally put in the wrong link and it happens to break as a result should have been decreased significantly, and we should be in a position now where you can more safely attempt to do it correctly. So like I say, please don't try to break it, because I'm sure you will be able to. And if you do, we won't necessarily be able to fix it quickly. But if you have been holding off because you're scared of making that mistake, I think now's the time to go in and try it. Specifically, that relates to the live streaming, which is obviously one of the new features that we've brought down from some of the upper tiers in the subscription panel to the lower tiers, so you can now do that down on premium, I believe. Wendy, we have been looking at tutorials for that with Fade, haven't we? Call out to
we have those of you don't know the lovely Fade Bloodlace. She's one of the OGs, and she's responsible for the it's a Hitchhiker's Guide to Infiniverse series. She's done some amazing, really informative tutorials on how to navigate your way through the beast that we have created. So big up to Fade, and she is also now working on a live stream tutorial. So yeah, just like we are doing now, anyone on a premium account or higher can live stream into the app, and it's really very simple. If you can do a YouTube live stream, then you can do a live stream into the app. That's all you need to do. You set up your YouTube account, your YouTube channel, you create a live stream following the YouTube instructions, and from that you will get a link. That YouTube link will be youtube.com blah 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 live blah 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 blah. And you just put that link into whichever slot, in whichever room that you want to do your live stream into. Click the go live, and that is it. It's as easy as that. Now we're doing a little extra stage. We're using a bit of software called OBS. This is a free bit of software you can download, and it's a professional grade sort of streaming software where you can put in like the little overlays and queue up videos to do. I'm sure it does loads of stuff that I haven't.
Is that how you do the Devcast jingle?
That is how I do the Devcast jingle seamlessly.
Yeah.
And how you can switch over to a video. So if I go to that thing now, so I can put back the little cover thing. I can take that away and we're back again. I can other things I've got all lined up from previous bits and bobs. So yeah, you can flick in and out, and I think once you get a bit more skilled with it, you can do all sorts of fancy other transitions and things as well. But it really is incredibly easy with the OBS software. Again, you just paste in I think it's called a key that then links up that OBS to your YouTube channel. And do your live stream. So any of you, I know loads of you out there are into blogging, into vlogging, into just general music. We've got some DJs out there. Yes.
What's it called when you do it in the verse? Is it versogging? What's it? Vlogging, vlogging. We need a new name for it. No.
Flogging? No. Yeah.
Slogging.
Splatting.
We'll have to work that out. Anybody that's got an idea what we want to call it, invent it, tell us, and we'll use that. But yes, we need a new name for it, because live streaming into the verse is entirely what we think is awesome.
No? VR rogging?
Okay. That does sound erotic.
Brogging.
That's dogging. That's dogging. Different. Very different. Don't do that in a multiverse. Don't live stream that. No, that's not where we're going with this in any way, shape, or form.
Didn't you Wendy say that the age increases and things like that last time?
Exactly. Okay, restart, refresh.
I've just put that screen back on. I just put there you go. Put that back on. There we go. Anyway, yeah, live streams, very, very easy to do, and a great way to get those engagements in with people, and to get make your spaces very interactive, and without even you having to be there, so you can reach a mini audience. And the joy of this is, as we know, we have shard limitations. So if you do host an event where you want to be present at the event, if you are in the app, there is the restriction where you can only be in one instance, one shard at a time, and so you can't necessarily see all of the people there. With this way, we are present, as it were, and you can have as many shards as you want. Now, we have chosen to turn off the YouTube comments for this video, but if you want to turn those comments on, then you will see on your streaming, on the YouTube streaming thing, you'll get all those live comments come with you in real time, and you can post them back. And you can even have a little person, you know, in the field, a little correspondent there, taking questions from the floor. All number of possibilities that you can exploit, and, you know, to really make your events and your things, yeah, much more involved.
And like we say, make sure you use the event system, because event system will drive people to your metaverse. And maybe when people come into your metaverse, whether it's a storefront or apartment or something else, you never know. It might be you might earn XP for that. So definitely think about that. On the subject of XP, we've talked about it a couple of times. I do want to say we are getting closer to the final launch. There are still some bugs and other things that we're doing. There's a little bit of work that Stephen's got left to get done before we launch the final version. But our goal is to have that out with you guys, so that you can actually start earning proper XP and going through the process quite soon. So keep your eyes out for that. Is there anything else on that whole side of things? The tutorials, we've talked about the discovery menu, we've talked about the tutorials, we've talked about multiverse updates, we've talked about the newsletter, we've talked about live streaming, we've talked about storefronts. What else is we need to talk about? I'm sure there's millions more things.
Always more stuff. Look over a little, we write a little agenda we write down, which is really just a kind of a few scribbles and ideas. So that's why I'm looking at my other screen, hence why I'm looking this way, to see what's on that screen. Yeah, we've done that. Yeah, okay. What I'll mention very briefly is something that is going to be happening next week. A bit dull, boring, but nevertheless it is worth a mention. So I have been undertaking a rather mammoth task of transferring our video catalogue to a new account. Now, in short term, this means basically identifying all of the gazillion videos that we have running in-app and moving them to a new area. This is all the videos in the planetarium, all of our promotional videos, every single apartment's got a video in, all of our showrooms, lots of videos in, and the transferring is over. But the transfer actually involves creating a duplicate. So it's not a basic transfer, it's making a copy of all those videos and then linking those new ones up rather than the old links. So what I'm going to be doing in order to track down any stragglers, because having done the vast majority of this transfer, I know there's one or two that I've kind of missed. There's going to be a couple of rooms somewhere where there might be an old video that we need to get rid of. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be changing those old videos to a static screen with an error code on it. It will say something like, if you see this, please report this error code. It would be amazingly helpful if anyone seeing that screen could report that code and tell us where you see it. And by where I see it, I don't mean the address, but I mean the template, the room, the type of room that you're in. So that might be the boutique storefront. That might be a 2-balcony apartment in the tiki theme. That might be a terrace in the Nighthawk theme. So the template area that you use, or it might be in one of the mazes, it might be in one of our exhibition spaces, the specific place that you're in. If you could report that and the error code, that would be so helpful to help us track down any last straggling videos. It's a dull task that I have been put to, and I'm very pleased to have done it all done. But it was just one of those admin things that we needed to do just to ensure the longevity of the video content that we've got, and make sure going forward that we could keep providing it all in a nice simple manner. So yeah, just a bit of admin there. That would be greatly appreciated.
So the other thing I wanted to call out on the subject of the XP passive XP events and things like that is that Beck Bay has an event to set up tomorrow that has nearly hit 500 subscribers. So we are all quite excited about the idea that might hit 500 subscribers, in which case, please, if you're listening to this, go and check out for the events listings for Multiverse and add yourself to the subscriber list if you haven't yet. I did so today. The link is on Discord, and I think she's probably shared it on Facebook and every other platform there is. is. So you can probably find it out there. You're looking for the Aliens, a multiverse art collaborative. Beck Bay has done some absolutely amazing art galleries that have broken our systems and pushed it to the extreme in many different cases. But her galleries are amazing. They are lots of fun. They're very worth visiting. And I think this one has been a collaborative with a whole load of other people and is absolutely worth going to visit. It will also, from our point of view and from you guys, probably be handing out quite a lot of XP if that many people are attending it. So both Beck Bay will benefit, but also the people attending will benefit because they'll be meeting with other people. They'll be meeting with new people. They'll probably be doing some high fives and other things like that. You never know. So it's going to be a huge opportunity for everybody to get lots of XP and for us to test out the system. So do us a favor, do Beck Bay a favor, do yourselves a favor, go to the event and subscribe to it beforehand. Very much hoping that we hit the 500 mark today.
It should be worth mentioning as well that getting events with high subscribers is one of the Dragon quests. So yeah, hark back to those eggs that are still around. We have the feather egg that's going to be cracking next week. So if you have an egg that you want to see move to the next stage, you can take part in our quest. Head over to the Dragon Egg Info Centre, and from there you'll find information about each of the quests. And there are 2 event-related quests. One is the serial events, where you have to host a series of 3 related events. And one is, I think, 3 unrelated events. I can't remember offhand the exact number. But each event has to have a minimum number of subscribers. So with this first event that Becca's done, it just shows if you have a good event with good marketing and submitted with enough notice, you can rack up those subscribers without doing anything. I'm not sure Becky even realised that she had that many subscribers to it. So this is now 1/3 of the way to achieving a milestone. So the rest of you out there, with all these tools that you've got, if you think your event is decent, it's worthwhile, then get it out there, give it good notice, get it featured, and see if you can then compete as well. I'm sure, knowing Beck, she'll do some more in this series. She's as Sam said, she's one of the many great artists that we've got out there doing this amazing galleries. Get those series events, get that those going, and then see how you go. Dora, so featured events, how does that work?
So any of your events that you create on our multiverse online.io website can be featured as well on official MetaQuest website. So you just need to request it. When you set up your event, there's an option for you to select and say that you would like to have your event featured. And that obviously will give much better exposure because anyone with the headset can see your event. We do have some guidelines and recommendations. So usually we recommend up to 2 hours. So please do not submit events that last maybe like for an entire day, because that would a little bit slow down the process. But I'm sorry. Yeah, he wants to, I think, organize an event himself. Yeah, so up to 2 hours, provide all the assets, and we will get your event featured on MetaQuest. And then you will get a link that you can share, anywhere outside of the app as well. So definitely, we want to promote those. We do have a little bit more specific step-by-step guidelines on our website as well for event creation. So that's always where you can refer to. So we call them, I think, both like external and internal events. So external would be referring to MetaQuest, and then internal events are the ones that you create just on our website. And for that, there are no limits. So you can have longer events than 2 hours, just to avoid any confusion. And then I think Wendy also mentioned earlier, we do have opportunity for you to rent spaces, some amazing of our spaces, venues for your events. So we do have a forum for events. If you would like to host your event in some special places, like outdoor cinema, you can do that by just contacting us. Just drop us an email to support and we'll get you a form, and then we can organize your event in those really nice special places that will, I think, make your event even more noticeable And then that means earning more XPs as well.
Yeah, and note that if you have a featured event, so that's an external meta featured event, when you go into Grand Central, that big door opposite you, that will take people directly to your event. So anyone coming in, any one just wandering past will see that. They don't even need to open the discovery menu or look at an events list. They'll see it straight away and go, oh, what's that? And get taken straight there. So it's really good exposure. And as Sam's been saying, with this passive XP, having good events that people turn up to and that people spend time in is beneficial for them and for you. So it's really worth doing. If you want to, especially with these new storefronts, I know a lot of you wanting to promote real life goods that you're selling. If you want to have, a grand storefront opening, opening ceremony, or you want to, maybe you're an author and you've got a book that you want to do like a live stream book reading in your store. All of these types of things, are great as an event to get people interested and get that exposure. And it's not just people, it's anyone, as Dora said, anyone with a headset who's just browsing the events list, even if they've never even heard of Multiverse, they will see that event and can come and find out what's going on.
Yeah, it's a fantastic way to get exposure and definitely should be used. So basically what today's been about is talking about how Dora can help you get exposure and how Dora can help you with all of the things related to your world and your spaces in Multiverse. So make sure you use her in whatever capacity is needed to get yourself as much XP and as much exposure as you possibly can. I got to ask, Wendy, it's a bit of a trick, isn't it? Because like these events, are they racking you XP up? I mean, what's going on? Each devcast, are you becoming more of an OG each time? Where are they?
Super score.
Where are the XP points going?
The account,
And where are the rooms attached?
It's the Multiverse account, so I don't know.
It's probably Ollie or Chris or something.
It's going to be Chris. Talk about passive friggin' XP. He's sitting there with his new job, and he's like going to be like a gazillion XP from all the stuff that's coming.
Lucky him.
I don't know his head. I need to find his headset. I'll shove it on. I'll go in and have a look.
We might have to transfer.
You've ranked up. You've ranked. That'll break the system just from how fast he ranks up. Yeah, I need to find it.
Yep. There's a couple of other things we want to mention. There's been a phantom level up bug where people are getting told they've leveled up to level 2 after they've leveled up to something much higher. We think we fixed that, or at least we're looking into it, and we should have a fix for that out very soon. And there are some other things, but basically these coming weeks you're going to see a whole load of changes. A lot of them are going to be small little fixes and improvements, and there's going to be some absolutely big whoppers out there. Next week is Meta Connect, so I'm not going to be here. Dora's not going to be here, and I don't know whether we're going to be doing a devcast because Wendy will have to organize that with one of the other devs, or maybe with a cat or two.
I'll work on Ollie. I really will work on Ollie, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
We could maybe do one from Meta.
Oh,
that would be a bit cool. Have to think about that. Maybe we could do one from Meta Connect. That would be awesome. I don't know. I think we've signed some NDAs. And
NDAs,
yeah, we'll have a look. Or we'll break them or something. I don't know. Exactly. But yes, we're going to be at the Meta Connect event in San Francisco next week. So we'll be hanging out there, and we'll be back again after. But yes, in the meantime, I think we should be looking to see, by the time I come back, we'll probably be in a situation where the XP will be ready to go live. So that's going to be a big deal. Is there anything else that we've got to talk about that was on the list of things that we absolutely had to talk about?
I think we've covered the last, and then coming up in the fall.
Yes, we got some big news coming up. So as you guys know, we have another app or game this time called The Flip, and The Flip is absolutely flipping awesome. It's out on the Quest headset. You can go and buy it right now. There's a discount at the moment. It's dropped in price, so go get it. I think it's now about, what is it, Dora? What's the price set at?
It's $12.99.
$12.99. There we go. So we've got $12.99 price on The Flip, and this autumn we are coming out with one hell of a flipping big update. So yeah, you'll be seeing some very, very cool features, new features coming, and new levels specifically, whole load of bigger, longer levels. I know they've been asked for. People have been spending as much time as possible lounging around in the flip, not progressing to get as high a score as possible at the end of the game. And these new longer levels will allow you to achieve that while progressing through. So you won't have to stick around. You'll be able to actually move through and experience a much longer level with a whole load of harder zombies and enemies. And that's going to be coming out around Halloween, probably a little bit before, no exact date just yet, but this next month, in about a month's time, you'll be playing that in the flip. It is flipping awesome. So make sure you go and get that if you haven't already, and make sure you got it downloaded for when the update comes.
Yeah, and if you want a little sneak preview of one of the
some
levels,
point
a few
in the
weeks
coming
ago,
month.
Jake, San, and I did a little playthrough of one of the levels. So I'm not sure where that video is. I'll track it down and try and maybe we can even do another one. Yeah, so you can get a whole preview of one of the whole brand new levels, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's got this it's amazing vertical gameplay in it, so it really takes you up into the city, down into the city with a brand new area, this kind of pier dockside area with loads of exploding barrels, some mega exploding barrels, some too many exploding barrels if you can possibly have too many, with these great new areas to explore. It's visually brilliant. It takes you right down into the subway as well. So yeah, it's a really great addition to the city.
So yeah, I 100% agree. And
I think Sun froze
Again?
for me.
the key thing, update, whole load of new content. I froze just at the key point. Damn. Okay, well, never mind. Yeah, awesome, flipping awesome, flip. Something like that. But yes, make sure you go and get the game and make sure you got it installed. I just had some news from in the app, a couple of videos. One of them sent through that Dora, your cat, is going down very well with everybody in there, and that Beck Bay might have to make a developer pets gallery to.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Could send in
I think we've got
descriptions of
some
our
good ones.
pets, and she can do AI
Yes.
generated images based on our descriptions of them.
I think so. I think that's what's going to
Love
come. But the and what's the name of your pet, Wendy? It's like Hobbiton, isn't it?
Frodo.
That's it, Frodo. And Dora, what's yours?
Corey.
Corey. Ah, there we go. So yeah, lovely pets. We'll
Sam's
definitely have
got
to get Beck Bay
two
onto
as
that
well.
or something like that.
What your two
Mine
say?
is
How about
called
yours?
Philippa.
Yep.
Oh no, that's my wife. What's the
Ooh.
ooh, yes. Let's not go there. So yes, on that note, let's talk about other things. I think there's a couple of things that we want to talk about in general, because we're actually a little bit ahead this week. We're like 10 minutes before the hour. So we're going to talk about a few other things we've got on our minds, something that we're just thinking about in general. As a team, a development team, we're very much into AI. You probably heard us talk about it. You've obviously seen us do stuff with it. We use it regularly for everything from ChatGPT to Midjourney to a whole load of other tools. We're completely up for those. We think they're awesome. As a development team, ranging from our art team through to our coders, we use AI to help us code. We use AI to help us do art. We think of it as a tool, not as a replacement for humans. It allows us to do more, better, cooler, faster, with more skill and more talent, and move on to achieve more with less. So from our point of view, AI is an awesome achievement and development for humanity. We believe that it's going to help us go further, and I personally cannot wait to get the brain implant put in my head so that I can directly send my thoughts and dreams to Midjourney and wake up to screams and shouts as everybody in the rest of the world is freaked out by what I thought of. But yes, the key thing I think that we're looking at now is how is it possible to take that content and bring that into app? Now, this is a very pie in the sky type of concept. It's not something that we're going to be able to do quickly or soon or anything like that. But from our point of view, I think some of the excitement that we've got is that with a metaverse type product, and with the metaverse being what it hopefully will be one day, it's about content, and it's about access to content and discovery of content and creation of content. And one of the things that AI does is allow us to do that quicker, faster, with more experience or more opportunity. So with that in mind, we've been thinking about opportunities for how to do that. And there's a bunch of different things. There's text, There's images, there's video, there's 3D content, and there's songs. I think there's probably a few more out there that I haven't mentioned, but the level of content generation is starting to really change. And over the last 2 years, it started with ChatGPT 3.5 and a really ugly version of DALL-E, and we've now got through to amazing images coming from Midjourney and some of the other products, and we've got ChatGPT, what is it, 4.1 or something now, which is insane, delivering content that is absolutely mind-numbingly stupidly cool. You've got King AI or Kling AI, which is the one that turns images into videos. You've got the Suno, who creates songs. My goal personally would be find a way to get all of that brought into one package, so that Multiverse was a way for people to explore that content and to see that content in one big fell swoop. I've got a vision that is probably impossible to deliver upon without $1 billion in funding, but a vision for how you could generate apartments on the fly based upon the content, maybe
It's
the street
spamming us
name.
all afternoon with this.
Yeah, I mean, the ideas are freaking awesome, but the opportunities I think are going to be fantastic. One of the things that we are actually looking quite heavily into is the ability to bring content in. Something that the development team has heard from users for the last 2 years is you're clamoring for ways to bring 3D content into app. Some of you are fantastic creators. However, one of the concerns is that understanding the sort of level of polygon requirements and the minimal polygon requirements, which Wendy can tell you are pretty damn low, the texture requirements, which have to be nearly non-existent, and just the ability to bring in the right format, the right product in the right way, that the normals aren't flipped, and everything else that Wendy will talk to you about a little bit more in detail, tell you how painful it is to get something right, even when you know what you're doing. Not that Wendy knows what she's doing. I'm not insinuating that by any chance. But
please be under no misconceptions on that front.
The idea that making something work within Multiverse, even when you know what you're doing, isn't easy. So what we've seen is the opportunity to use something like an image to 3D generation tool, which might allow us to let you guys upload images, and those images get converted into 3D objects that then appear in the environment. And that's something that we're exploring. So I think in general, you should think of what we're going to be doing over the coming years, not weeks, not months, but years, along those lines. How do we empower you to be content creators that achieve amazing content? I mean, ultimately can create whole environments yourselves, but for the time being, start with some smaller things. How do we allow you to bring those things in? How do you create content that is compelling and powerful? And I think Beck Bay is we've already mentioned, one of the cooler creators of content in Multiverse, has given some absolutely amazing ideas of what can be done, and you guys are taking that in other areas and running with it. But how do we give you the tools that allow it to be very simple, drag and drop, easy to create content that comes into Multiverse? Have you got any thoughts, Wendy?
I think that's what you said there is key. It's the whole drag and drop thing, because anyone can develop. You can spend days modeling something. You can then set it up in the right way. But that isn't the point. You guys aren't developers. It's not about hiring more for our team to do what we do. It's about the average person on the street being able to put in the stuff that they want. In a way that is a drag and drop. It's literally, this is my picture, make it. This is what I want, make it. So that's what AI kind of has the power to do. And yet we all joke at AI. It is funny, it's hilarious, the number of fingers that things comes up with. And, it is at the moment great fun. But even though that is true, I think also that tends to forget just how amazing the fact that it can do that at all. The fact that it can even make a hand with 11 fingers is so fucking amazing, to be able to generate that. It is such an astronomical leap in technology and in the power and the processing power of what tech can do these days. And it's really scary. It's open to abuse. Of course it is. Of course new technologies are. And governments will never catch up fast enough to get the right regulations in place. Always playing catch up with things, and so it's going to change our lives. It's going to change everyone's lives. I look at my son. He's just turning 6, and I think whatever job he has, be it a gardener, be it a scientist, be it a dustman, he is going to use AI and touchscreens and technology. It is going to be ubiquitous and it's going to infiltrate every single thing that we do. So it's really important that we get a hang of it. But I say it's important that everyone can get a hang of it. It's not the experts, that the people on the street know how to use it, know what it can do, and can benefit from it with products like ours. And that's going to be the trick, the challenge to find the way of doing that, of getting things that are compatible and consistent and still look like you want them to look like. We have huge challenges in our, take Infiniverse. To put an object in Infiniverse, to put a statue in there are so many requirements and restrictions on it. So it's not just a polygon count. And I think a lot of you guys, I know some of you have a concept of what polygons are and the counts, but you'd be quite surprised at how quick they rack up in a simple object. You really add a simple detail and whoosh, it's multiplied. So you have to keep those so low. So we're looking at under 1,000 for the majority of our statues. They can't have textures on them. So a texture is like a pattern. So when you guys have been using the new storefront example and you upload nice images to the floors and the walls, those are textures, those are images, those are patterns. In Infiniverse, we only have block colors. So each thing can only be a single block color, no designs. If you want a design, you have to put the polygons in there, which then whacks up the polygon count, which you can't do. So you're stuck with blocky cartoon things. You have to get it set up correctly so it sits on the ground, so it doesn't float. So if it's on a hill, it doesn't kind of, look like it's all wonky. It's got to be in the right orientation. It's got to face the right way. It's got to be linked into the rest of the world, so the rest of the world knows it's there. It's got to have collision on it. I know lots of things don't have collision, but they ought to, really. So is it a wall? Is it a floor? Can you walk on it? Does it have a surface you should be able to walk on? All of these gazillion things. Does it have then the animation on it? Yeah, the animation, any effects on it, any particles, any streamers, any glow, any emissive things on it. So even a simple thing suddenly becomes complex. So any system has to be able to then do that. Is it light? Is it shadows? Does it cast a shadow? Can it be moved around? So it's not just about getting an AI system that can make an object. It's about getting an AI system that can make an object that then does all those things as well and fits into the world. And that's Infiniverse. It is a separate, it's a special case. Over in the apartments, there's much fewer restrictions. We can have much more interesting objects, but there's still limits. There's still...
Can you explain that one a little bit? Because it always seems confusing to people, and I know it confused me to begin with. The idea that the apartment sits inside Infiniverse. So the apartment has all of that cool stuff and yet is in Infiniverse, and we can't do an object in Infiniverse that has that cool stuff in it. I think basically the thing that I worked out is that the Infiniverse that's around an apartment isn't actually Infiniverse. It's a cut down version of it, isn't it?
Yeah, so in the same way that if you jump off your apartment balcony onto the street and there is someone in Infiniverse on that street, you don't see them. They're not there because, the Infiniverse, that is around the apartments. The Infiniverse, that is around the homeroom. The Infiniverse that you see from the hub, it's not the real Infiniverse. It's kind of like a carbon copy faked version that we've put in to make it look good, but it's not the real world. So when you're in an apartment scene, it's that room that is the whole scene. Everything else is a bit faked. So the budget for what you're loading, so if you're in a room with 4 walls, what you can see is limited by those 4 walls. So any limit on polygons, on number of objects, it's very flexible because everything's in that 4 walls. If you then make that space the size of a city, the number of things you can suddenly see, every lamppost, every bush, every street corner, every jetpack vending machine, every statue, every single thing that you can see as you look around down that long boulevard, all count towards that budget. So that's why we have the different limitations. And if you're standing on like a street corner, like an intersection, and someone's put all these statues on every way, and then they've really made use of the plot editing things, and you're also between a cyber city and a village and central city with all those different building types, it just whacks up that limit. And it's pain. I know, it's a broken record saying, oh, you can't do these things, can't do these things. But it's how we've made the world, and it's why it can be so big, and it's why it can be generated so quickly, and it's why it can be generated on the fly as well. That's how, you build you buy an apartment, whoosh, the building knocks up, you put a statue down, whoosh, it goes right in. It's how we can do this so amazingly without having to download content every single time.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I think it's important to understand that Infiniverse is, might not be as attractive as, I don't know, GTA's open world in GTA 2 or something like that, but it does more. I mean, it has icons of all the faces in the buildings. It has buildings that grow and change. It has the ability to have plot stamped. It has a completely different type of experience that actually is more powerful than what GTA is, because GTA is a more standard static environment. So Infiniverse itself is limited, obviously, but what AI could allow us to do is we could tell the AI what restrictions are, and the AI, being a computer, would be able to deliver to those restrictions stat, and that would allow us to be able to let you guys put, for example, an image into the AI, get a 3D model back, and us to be able to have that 3D model in Infiniverse or in your apartment, in your storefront, or somewhere like that. So like I say, these aren't things that you're going to be seeing anytime soon, but they are things that we're looking into. The things that we think about, the things that we play with all the time, and the things that we're looking into. How can we make multiverse bigger, better, cooler from that point of view, and easier to interact with? So that's sort of our brain thought.
Sam's had like a bit of a boring afternoon or a long meeting he's not listening to, because suddenly the chat gets filled with, look what I made, look at this song I wrote, look at this AI cool thing, look at this idea I've had. And we that's the whole kind of like, Sam, just go back to do something useful. We're all busy here. And he's like, no, I'm on a plane, or I'm waiting somewhere to do something. I'm late for this thing.
Just come out of an investor meeting and I want to moan.
Yeah, he just comes up with all this stuff. But that's how great ideas come, and we're gonna start somewhere, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I think that
got to finish
pulls up to the hour.
Yes.
So any final parting words, Dora, from your inaugural experience here on Devcast?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I love you chatting about, what's possible. And I think AI just gonna make those possibilities limitless. And I think with our community and creativity that people have, it's going to be amazing. So I really look forward, to one day seeing all that creation. So that's awesome. Yeah.
So I think we have to end on a high five, because we want some XP. So yeah, high five, everybody. Rack up those points, and we'll be seeing you again sometime soon. Not sure when, but we'll be somewhere where Meta meets Devs and Devs meet Meta, or something like that.
Jingle incoming.
Devcast, plugging you into the future, where verse meets meta, where meta meets verse, where gamers meet devs, where devs meet games. Your direct access to the future right here, right now.